Yeah, I'm here with Grand Elder Robinson, and we are here at Standing Rock, and we're talking about Native American indigenous people's rights and exactly what's been happening. And I'm speaking with a man of authority who has great knowledge about the struggle in to gain peace and understanding and harmony, and change the perception of Western culture to indigenous people's culture. Hello.
Greetings, Nancy. I'll speak in my language first because it's good. Nancy. My name is Walter Blizzard Man, and I'm also a Grand Elder to our indigenous nations. I represent our nations in Canada, as well as the Sioux tribe, who were part of the ceremony when they gave me the honor to be a Grand Elder for our indigenous nations. I have a university degree in Native law, Native studies, economics, rural development, and I've been an advocate for over 38 years in trying to bring the nation-to-nation relationships back to where it's supposed to be through that spirit and intent that was signed back quite a few centuries back. You see, prior to pre-contact with the Europeans and settlers to Turtle Island, we numbered close to 200 million in this continent. Now you look up till now, we barely make up 20 million now as First Nations or indigenous people or whatever the political correct word is out there in Turtle Island now, which means 160 to 180 million of us have been exterminated. Many tribes were extinct, never to be heard of ever again. A lot of tribes completely wiped out for the face of the earth. For what? For the land, for the resources, for the water. These three are their rationale, from my perspective, as to why the atrocities, the genocidal suppression, oppression that have been done to my people over the course of centuries.
Yeah.
Now, to start, so here we were in this land. Then across the ocean in the 1400s, the Pope declared to his Christian followers that wherever you travel, wherever you go, if you find land, you can claim it. That degree has now been dubbed as a legal concept, the doctrine of discovery.
I see.
And then this doctrine of discovery is what got us to be where we are today. Because when the Europeans, the settlers, came across, they claimed this land as their own without realizing there were already people living here. Like, it was 1400, so it was less than 100 years later when Christopher Columbus accidentally landed in this island, in this continent, when he was trying to journey to India, but ended up over here, and claimed this on behalf of his queen.
Yeah.
And from then on, a lot of things have taken place and taken shape more or less destructively against our people. And I'm only going to say some of the more paramount, the more legal perspectives of what the Europeans, the settlers, the governments deem is legal from their perspective as opposed to ours.
Yeah. Okay, can I ask you one question? May I call you Mr. Robinson, or how would you?
Elder.
Elder Robinson. Okay. What tribe are you from originally in Canada? In what place?
I am an Ininu, which means people. I am a Nihau. A Nihau Ininu person, a Cree. They call us Cree.
Yeah.
In a white man's world.
Uh-huh.
I'm from a Cree tribe called the Michigan Cree Nation, which is, in other words, Cross Lake First Nation in north central Manitoba, Canada. That's where I'm originally from.
And what's in the modern city? Where is that near?
It's about 6 hours drive north of Winnipeg and 2.5 hours south of Thompson, in the central Manitoba, Canada.
And may I ask, how did you actually? What brought you to Standing Rock?
This is where the interview is going to lead. So, to continue. Over the course of this Europeans invading and colonizing Turtle Island,
Yeah.
they've made laws that serve their interests. Supreme Court Justice John Marshall had a lot to do with where we find ourselves today. He declared that we, the indigenous nations, had no right to soil. We had no right to land. We had no right to call ourselves sovereign. That we are the subjects and the property of the government. That we were incompetent. That we had no ability to govern ourselves politically, socially. That we had no concept of governance structure. That we needed to be saved. And the only way to be saved was to be westernized, to shun, kill the Indian in us, in place, become westernized in terms of ideology, way of living, way of perception, way of values. I'm a product of Indian residential school. I went to 3 Indian residential schools, St. Joseph's, Guy Hill, and Dauphin Indian residential school, where the idea was to kill the Indian in me, that I don't speak my language, that I don't accept my culture, that I turn back my culture, that I think my culture is evil, that I don't practice my ceremonies, that I don't pray my own way, but that I pray and kneel to the Bible and Jesus and make them my central philosophy in terms of how we pray.
So you were actually encouraged or forced to believe in God or Jesus?
It was beaten into me.
I'm not sure if he's here
You can
right
think
now.
of any kind of abuse in your mind right now. I went through it more than once during my time in these Indian residential schools. If you were caught praying in our cultural way, we'd be beaten. Many of us murdered. Many of us killed because we dared to speak our language. We dared to even light our smuts, where we dared to even do our dances. The governments outlawed our potlatches. Our governments the government of Canada, where I come from, even the United States outlawed our ceremonies. That if you were caught doing any of these ceremonies, you would be killed, executed right on the spot, or jailed. There was laws that were made to ensure that we did not practice these.
That's terrible.
And a lot of our people died. A lot of our people suffered. There's a lot of mass graves right across the United States, Canada, with our children in them, where the governments and the people involved in these atrocities that still do not want to tell us where our children are laid. We would like to bring our children back home where we can give them proper burial. But they still to this day do not want to disclose where all these mass graves are, right across this whole continent of North America. A lot. The last Indian residential school closed in 1996.
You said the Indian Reservation School.
Indian residential schools.
Okay. In other words, boarding houses or boarding schools, yeah.
Where the children were ripped and taken away from their families by force. They made laws where the parents that refused to let their children be taken by the government, by the churches, there were laws that were made that they would be imprisoned if they didn't let go of their children. A lot of parents spent a lot of years in prison because they did not want to let their children go to the Indian residential schools.
And up until what year was this a policy?
1996.
1996?
Yeah. The government of Canada and even in the States made laws where the children have to go to the Indian residential schools. Some of them never came back home. Some of them were killed, murdered through the abuse, through chickenpox, through slavery, through being injected with poison, through our young girls being impregnated by the priest and the brothers, and when the babies were born, they'd be thrown in a furnace alive, and we have to smell the stench of the burning flesh as we hear the cries of the babies burning alive while they stood right there in front of these furnaces. These are the kind of things that we were subjected to, that we had to witness through behind these cold walls of Indian residential schools. They were trying to really ensure that these are warnings that if we dare to be Indian, this is what we're going to get. We're going to be killed off, we're going to be executed, crucified, murdered, in any shape or form to kill that Indian in us, to try to make us be white men. Think like them, be like them, walk like them, dress like them, pray like them, do ceremonies like them, in every sense of the word. But it's good that our people were resilient, were strong in their ceremonies, were strong in their culture, were strong in their sweat lodges, their ghost dances, their potlatches. If it wasn't for our ancestors that bore these, that kept these, that ensured that they kept them and they taught them to our young, taught us, even me, we would have lost our culture. We would have lost our language. We would have lost our ceremonies. We would have lost our sweat lodges. We would have lost our ghost dances, and the list goes on. I'm thankful today to be sitting here, still retaining my language, still following my culture, still doing ceremonies, still doing Chanopa ceremonies, still going into sweat lodges, still going to sun dances, because of my ancestors that were resilient, that were, no matter how hard they were beaten, no matter how much they were abused through these Indian residential schools, even by the governments, we're still here. Now,
You told me that you did a fast for 45 days. Is that correct?
I did a fast, a hunger strike first for 17 days. Then I turned it into a fast, and I did a total of 48.5 days. That was I started December 12, 2012, and I ended my fast in January 24th, 2013. And I did another one for 5.5 days in April. I did a total of 48.5 days. And the reason why I did that was because of what we're talking about. All the oppression, suppression, dictatorship, genocidal approaches, the dictation, the regulations, the legislations, the acts, the bills that want to exterminate who we are as indigenous people in this land. They've been trying to take everything, every single thing of who we are as indigenous people in this land. They have taken our. If you want to look at it, you can look at it this way. According to the white man, according to the governments, we, the indigenous people, are waterless, are landless, are homeless, are resourceless. Because when you look at all the legislations, regulations, bills, acts, all of these bills, all these laws serve the interests of the corporations and the governments. They don't serve the interest of the indigenous people whatsoever. You can go through every one of these laws. Not one will you see that favor the indigenous people. In fact, it takes everything away from us. It takes all the decision-making powers. It takes all the control. It takes all the rights that supersede our laws. Our laws are supposed to supersede any law, state law, federal law. Our laws are supposed to supersede because we were here first. There is a wampum belt out there.
Tribal law, is that what you're talking about?
There's a wampum belt out there that signified this relationship that we're supposed to have with these Europeans, these settlers that came. One line is supposed to represent their laws, their government, their structure, their values, their way of life. And the other line was supposed to represent ours, our laws, our ways, our ceremonies, our virtues, our governance, our nation, our people. There's actually a belt out there. It's called wampum belt. There's 2 lines in it. This was made when the treaties were signed to signify that each of these 2 nations were never supposed to cross each other. They're supposed to go work hand in hand, together, in harmony. Nobody trying to cross the other.
Yeah.
But since the treaties were signed, what happened?
The one law crossed the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Europeans and the settlers crossed. Where's our line?
Yeah.
Where's our government? Where's our constitution?
Yeah.
Where's our White House? Where's our president? Where's our laws? Where's our land? Where's our waters? Where's our resources?
Yeah.
According to them, they own everything. They say that we ceded, we surrendered everything. But how? Think about this. You got a family, right?
Yeah.
Would you give up your house, your land, your water, your resources?
Not without a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think we gave up, ceded, or surrendered our lands? Where the hell are we going to raise where were we going to raise our children if we gave up our lands, our water, our resources, which are the basic necessities of life? Who in their right mind would give up anything like that if they have a family?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so ignorant.
And
so anyway,
how did you come here to Standing Rock?
We're going to get there.
Right, sorry.
We're going to get there.
Okay.
This is a progressive interview.
All right. Thank you.
Don't rush me there. We'll get
Okay.
there. So, the last 38 years, I've been fighting for our indigenous people
Yeah.
in courts. I have a law degree.
Yeah.
I'm an expert, I can say, in treaties.
Yeah.
I've been in and out of courts trying to do what I can for our people
Yeah.
because of the laws that the institutions have made
Yeah.
that do not favor us. In Canada, we have what you call a Coulter case in 1970s. This Coulter case gave us, at least for the first time on paper,
Yeah.
that we had rights, that we had title.
What do you call this again?
Coulter case,
Calder case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
where the Supreme Court favored us, that says, yes, these indigenous nations have rights.
Yeah.
They have title to these lands, water, and resources.
Yeah.
For the first time, it was a paramount precedent-setting case that was handed down at the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land,
Yeah.
telling the government, okay, these indigenous people, they have rights, they have title.
Yeah.
You have to work with them. Then we have another case. It's called Gruen case in
Yeah.
the 80s.
Yeah.
That says that whatever the governments want to do, they have to ensure that they look after our interests,
Yeah.
not just their self-serving interests.
Exactly.
That's again from the Supreme Court of Canada. And then again we have this Sparrow case, Mickey Sue case, Haida case, Telmaco case. The list goes on, where they have to get a free, prior,
And
informed consent.
Yeah.
before they do anything that's going to affect us as the indigenous people.
That's right.
We won so many court cases that have been handed down to the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, dictating, telling the government, they have these. You have to work with these.
Yeah.
But to this day, that hasn't happened.
They haven't applied the law.
Yeah, look what's going on in Standing Rock.
Yeah. That's what I like.
This is what's happening in Standing Rock.
Yeah.
Standing Rock has a 1851-1868 Fort Laramie Treaty.
Yeah.
It says there in Article 12, before anything can ever change, before you can abrogate or derogate anything, or execute anything in a treaty,
Yeah.
3/4 of all adult Sioux males have to sign it
Yeah.
before it's enforceable. Now, if you look at from 1851 till 1910, about 6 times the treaty boundaries have been changed. Where by 1910, 90% to 99%, 95% of all that was signed in 1851, 1868 have now gone back in the hands of the United States. How is that possible? If you look at the chronological, historical evidence on how these things were dealt with, you will not see in any of these dealings that 3/4 of adult males ever signed or executed these proceedings.
And apparently the treaty was not even ratified by the Congress.
I'm not even going there.
Yeah.
I'm not even going there. The thing is, they made treaty.
Yeah. They made an agreement.
They made an agreement.
Yeah.
We indigenous people, when we made an agreement, it's binding.
Absolutely.
Our word is what makes us.
Absolutely.
The handshake is what makes us. The
Yes.
Chanopa, when we raise it with you,
Yeah.
is what makes it.
Right.
We will not go back on our word. We're
Yeah.
not that kind of people. We will never were and we never will be.
Yeah.
So all this time, Fort Laramie Treaty exists here,
Yeah.
where Article 6 and Article 8 states that through the allotments, each of these tribal members and their families are allotted lands. They were registered. They're registered in the land registry,
Yeah.
where the government signed them off themselves. And all these treaties, all these lands, where they're making that pipe right now, is part of Fort Laramie Treaty. But according to the United States, according to our Army Corps of Engineers, they think that's their land, that we're occupying it. But where? Show me where, in the legal perspective, does it really say that they own it? Show me.
Yeah.
Show the Sioux tribe.
Yeah.
Where's the evidence that this was done legally?
Yeah.
Because you will not find it. Look at 1887, 1877. Black Hills was part of the Fort Laramie Treaty. But what happened? They found gold in Black Hills.
That's right.
And what did they do? Government took it.
Yeah. And they offered you
And
money.
then they offered us money.
Yeah.
The Sioux tribe won a case against United States, and the Great Sioux Nation versus United States. They won against to get their land. They got their land back.
Yeah.
But what does the government want to do? Oh, they want to give you money instead of the land. They offered them about 300 million for the land.
Yeah.
But the Great Sioux Nation still refuses to take it because they want the land back.
Yeah.
They would rather get the land back, not the money.
And at the moment, the Black Hills, I believe, is run by the United States government as a forest.
Doesn't
reserve.
matter. It doesn't matter who runs it. The
Yeah.
thing is, that's the Great Sioux Nation's land.
That's right.
That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter who runs it.
Yes.
There's a court case there that says, in Supreme Court, United States says, that's the Great Sioux Nation's land.
Yeah.
Give it back.
Yeah.
Give it back.
And I mean, where do you think is the way forward right now?
The way forward is for the governments,
Yeah.
for the nations that signed treaties with us, to start honoring, start implementing
Yeah.
what they said they were going to do, which is honor the treaties, not take their word back and start taking everything back. Look what's happening right now, right here in Standing Rock. According to the treaties, this is Great Sioux Nation's land. Period.
Yeah.
You can't put anything on top of it. You can't meander. You can't create laws
Yeah.
to make it look like it's your land. It's their land, because that
The land.
document is there.
Yes.
It's in place. It was signed.
Yes.
It was sealed. It was delivered.
Do you think that a new treaty needs to be?
No.
No new treaty.
Why? Why make a new treaty? If you can't even live with the first treaty, why try to make another treaty?
So do you think that the Congress and the United States government should ratify the old treaties?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's what the Great Sioux tribes want. Is they want their land back.
Yeah.
They want to be left alone, where they can freely, peacefully assemble, raise their families without disturbance, as the agreement was back then.
Yeah. And do you think that there's any possibility that what's happening here in Standing Rock, the ripples of which have been felt all across the world? It's captured the imagination of the entire world, actually. And do you think it's possible that we can take what's happened here at Standing Rock, not in defeat but as in victory, that we can move forward and actually do something to get the United States government to actually do what they said they were going to do?
Well, over the course of 500 years, us indigenous nations have been resilient, vigilant, and vigilant,
Yeah.
and have moved progressively to try to get the other nation to come to the table
Yeah.
in a fair, open dialogue,
Yeah.
as we did back then, equally. Not with them up there in the driver's seat,
Yeah.
not them over there dictating how negotiations are going to be, how consultations going to happen,
Yeah.
how the laws are going to implemented.
Yeah.
That wasn't the deal.
Yeah.
The deal was nation to nation,
Yeah.
government to government, people to people, law to law,
Yeah.
constitution to constitution, as equals.
Yeah.
Not anyone on the driver's seat and the other one being a passenger and being dictated what should happen. This is all that we ever wanted, was to have this avenue where we get fair play.
If you were to meet Donald Trump today and what's his name, Justin Trudeau, what would you tell them?
Honor the treaties.
Yeah.
Honor the treaties. Start implementing the treaties the way that spirit and intent. No less, no more. Equally.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the interview. Okay.